you're learning basic stuff like the 80s cocktails, like
Yeah.
your
Mhm.
redheaded sluts and,
Mhm.
all these stupid cocktails
Yeah.
that you never want to make. At the very last day, this gentleman comes in. I won't say his name because he says, don't ever tell anyone you met me. I won't say his name, but this gentleman came in and he was a guest speaker and he was there to speak on beer and wine. Hey guys, I'm going to Grand Central for a cocktail competition if anyone wants to join. And I'm like, cocktail competition? I'm here to get a diploma so I can work at a club if I need money and I'm out of a job. Like,
Yeah.
this is not a competition. I didn't know what the hell he was talking about. I see the guy, he's bringing his own tools out, which again, these things are blowing my mind. We take it for granted today.
Yeah.
But back then it was like, what? Who the hell is this guy? He ends up winning. At the end of that, I go to him and I say, hey, excuse me, Mr. So-and-so. Look, I went to bartending school just in case as an emergency, if I needed some money, if I'm out of a job. I think this is what I want to do from now on. Something just is, do you have any advice? He says, yes, forget everything you learned in bartending school.
It's gonna be a fun one this week. I have my friend Stilo here, who I've known for a couple of years. I met almost like 5 years ago, I think, when I first moved to Houston. So it's
Hmm.
exciting to
Yeah.
have you in finally for this new project. So
Thank you. Thank you for
yeah, for
inviting
sure.
me. This is awesome.
Yeah, I'm excited. So let's go ahead and start talking a little bit about yourself and introduce yourself to our viewers. I know for people who don't know you, who are you?
Who am I?
Yeah,
Who is this guy
yeah,
with the weird name?
yeah,
My name is Stilo Pimental.
yeah.
I am the East Coast brand ambassador for Milagro
Mm,
Tequila currently.
mhm. That's awesome. And then how long have you've been in the industry for a while, right?
Yeah, I've
Yeah,
been in the
yeah.
industry 12 years
Mhm.
altogether.
12 years total.
12 years altogether. I
Okay.
got in it by accident and I got in it later in life,
Mhm.
but it turned out to be a blessing.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's awesome. So you weren't originally going to be in the service industry? Is that what
No,
I'm hearing? Okay.
I was in fashion for 17 years
Okay.
before I got into bartending and everything. I mean, I started off at 17 years old working for retail companies
Mhm.
like The Gap, for example, and then went on to work for uh, the better department stores,
Mm.
like Saks Fifth Avenue. I started working for Ralph Lauren, who became
Okay.
my favorite designer, and then it just so on and so on. 17 years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's awesome. I can see you definitely you're always have that drip on lock every time I see you. It's definitely
You-
one of the more stylish brand
Thank
ambassadors.
you. I
Yeah, for sure.
appreciate that. I take pride in it, man.
Yeah, for sure. So you started in fashion. What pushed you to go into becoming in this industry and doing the whole bar life?
So from that retail side, I went into other parts of it, like the behind the scenes parts
Mm.
of it. Like I did fashion styling for Andy Warhol's Interview
Okay.
magazine for a year, which
Yeah.
was an insane experience. He was dead at that time. I'm
Yeah.
not that, but it
Yeah.
was Interview magazine. I did product reviews online for different companies. I did interviews for celebrity designers,
Mm.
like Oscar de la Renta, for example.
Yeah.
So I did a bunch of different things, but over time I realized how really, really fake the industry is, the
Mhm.
fashion industry,
Mhm.
and it was really affecting me emotionally. It's
Mm.
hard to know who to trust. It's hard to know who you're having an actual conversation with. So I started to feel burnt out. And then I got laid off from one of my positions
Mm.
and I had a little time off. So I
Yeah.
said, you know what? I mean, I'm bored. I'm always making cocktails at home. Let me get a bartender's license. At that time, that's how green I was. At that time,
Okay.
I thought I needed
Yeah.
a license to be a bartender in New York. So I
Mm.
went to bartending
Mm.
school. This is a bit of a long story, but
No,
it's
no, no,
funny.
yeah. Yeah.
I went to bartending school, and it was a week's worth of things that you needed to learn to get your diploma at the end. And I went through it, and I mean, you're learning basic stuff like the 80s cocktails, like
Yeah.
your
Mhm.
redheaded sluts and,
Mhm.
all these stupid cocktails
Yeah.
that you never want to make.
Mm.
But at the very last day, this gentleman comes in. I won't say his name because he says, "Don't ever tell anyone you met me in bartending
Okay,
school."
yeah.
I won't say his name, but
Mm,
this gentleman came in and he was a guest speaker and he was there to speak on beer and wine. But there was something about the way he was speaking that really just something lit up inside
mm,
me, you know? And towards the end, he says, "Hey guys, I'm going to Grand Central for a cocktail competition if anyone wants to join." And I'm like, "Cocktail competition? I'm here to get a diploma so I can work at a club if I need money and I'm out of a
yeah,
job. Like,
yeah,
this is not a competition on
mm,
cocktails." I didn't know what the hell he was talking about. I go, I see the guy, he's bringing his own tools out, which again, these things are blowing my mind. We take it for granted today.
yeah,
But back then it was like, what? Who the hell is this guy? He's bringing his own tools. He ends up winning. At the end of that, I go to him and I say, "Hey, excuse me, Mr. So and so. Look, I went to bartending school just in case as an emergency, if I needed some money, if I'm out of a job. But I think this is what I want to do from now on. Like something just is, do you have any advice?" He says, "Yes, forget everything you learned in bartending school."
mhm,
And he
yeah, oh,
walks
yeah,
away.
mhm, okay,
And there you go.
yeah. There's still to this day people that are going to bartending school that I've had to filter through as well. It's just like,
Right. I mean,
yeah,
today's bartending school is it's a
yeah,
different level.
yeah,
Now you're
yeah,
learning, yeah, now you're learning the real deal.
yeah,
So I think it's a good experience. I think it's
yeah,
a good idea to go to bartending school
yeah,
today.
yeah, for sure. I mean, like, we all start somewhere, right?
You
I
know,
mean,
start
it's in the
somewhere,
summer, and then, yeah,
man.
like, I started as a dishwasher and worked my way up through sous chef and then became a bar owner, and then we're here now, so
There you go.
it's like
Yeah.
everybody has path.
But
Yeah,
that's the thing.
yeah,
Starting from those positions in
yeah,
restaurants, also, and I mean, to learn every aspect
mm,
of the process, priceless,
mhm.
priceless.
So what was your first, bartending gig?
My first bartending gig. So
Mm, yeah,
I'm a bit of a again. I got into bartending when I was a little older. I was 15 years actually. I've been in the industry
okay,
because I started at 35.
oh,
Yeah, 35 years old.
okay.
I just told you my age. Started at 35 years old.
Yeah,
My first gig
yeah,
was in Yonkers because I wanted to make all my mistakes away from the city.
okay,
In Yonkers, running a tiny 10-seat hotel bar for the Hampton Inn,
okay, okay, yeah,
and I'm like, all right, let me break my bones here. It was just me every day
mm,
from 4 to 10 p.m. No one else, no bar back, no nothing. So I started watching all these YouTube videos to learn how to do everything, how
mhm,
to juice, how to make a syrup,
mm,
so I was my own bar back. I cleaned every day. I prepped every day. So I, I was my own bar back and my own bartender. And I was learning to make every day. I would put 3 new cocktails on the list that I just wanted to learn. And this is what I'm offering today.
yeah,
Made all my mistakes up there. Then I look at Craigslist
yeah,
and I see that there's a job opening for a bar in the meatpacking district. And I'm like, this is where I want to be.
mm,
I want to be in. I love the meatpacking district back
yeah,
then. This is when Pastis was still in its original location.
yeah,
So I go there, and and I'm studying all these
mm,
classics, just to make sure I get everything right. And the one classic I forgot to study was Sazerac.
okay,
So
okay,
10 seconds before going in, I'm like, oh, let me learn Sazerac. I'm looking it up, and Sazerac is this. Okay. At the end of the interview, the guy says, "Make me a Sazerac." I was like, yeah, and it was in the meatpacking district. Great experience. It was Dwayne Fernandez
oh,
Jr.
yes, Dwayne,
was
okay,
an important mentor of mine.
okay,
Yeah,
okay,
so he's the guy who gave me the job. A year later,
mm,
get this. This is how I knew I was meant to be in the
mm,
industry. A year later, I find out that his mentor was the guy I met at bartending school.
that's cool,
So
okay,
that was his mentor,
that's,
and Dwayne was my mentor.
okay. That's
This
a
is
that's a
insane.
that's a cool little
Yeah.
cycle, okay, awesome. Mr. Dwayne, I haven't talked to him in a while, I need to reach out.
Yeah.
Cool. So from there, you worked in the meatpacking district. Did you go anywhere else outside of you worked
Yeah, I mean, in the
yeah,
meatpacking district, I worked there for a little
mm,
while. From there, I I jumped around to different places, but they were all important places.
Mm,
I'm very lucky again that I came into this industry at that age because I was more mature and I was more aware of what was going on and aware of where I should be
mhm,
and where I shouldn't be and who I should be talking to and who I can learn
mm,
from.
mm,
So there was no time wasted with me.
mm.
You know, I went to all the right places. Uh, uh, Sweetwater Social was a good school for me
Okay.
in Soho.
Mm,
I got really lucky that I was recommended to open the Standard East Hotel in New York,
okay.
uh, which was again another wonderful experience. I'd never working for a hotel. It teaches you a lot. There are
Yeah.
so many rules that you have to follow. So I trained at the Standard Highline for a month, their entire process, went through the cocktails, and then I went to open the Standard East. I did a lot of consulting.
Okay.
I ran this crazy place in Dyckman, uptown New York, and I forget the name now, but it was a beast of a place. It was
Mm,
5 bars in one. It
mm,
was huge, huge. So that taught me a lot. I met just again, I just got to meet so many through Dwayne, really
mhm.
got to meet so many important people. So yeah,
That's awesome.
really, really good experience. Pam Wiz was very
Oh, yeah,
important to
yeah, yeah,
me,
yeah. Mhm,
very important
mhm,
to me. She really
mm,
gave me amazing direction. Another very important person for me. And she's the one actually who told me to join the USBG,
mhm.
which, back the USBG in New York was the shit. Can we curse here?
Yeah, yeah, you're fine. Yeah.
Was the
Yeah, yeah.
shit. And I remember she told me, I remember, again, another thing that kind of helped catapult my career
Mm,
was the Julio competition that was going on.
okay. Mhm,
Yeah.
mhm,
Those who had never had a
mhm.
competition, it was their very first competition in the US at least, and it was
Yeah.
a national competition.
Mm,
And I told her, I'm like, I don't like to be in front of an audience. And she's like, Stilo, do it. It's
yeah,
going to be good for you.
yeah.
I'm like, okay. Anything she says, I do.
Mm,
I ended up winning the
yeah.
competition, and that really helped.
That's awesome.
Uh, and it's not that it's self-serving. It's not that it put me on the map. It put me on the map in the sense that I got to meet more
Right.
important people that I wanted to learn from. Um,
Yes, for sure. That's definitely something that I think competitions do,
yeah,
is you definitely get exposure to
right.
all these people, and that's one of the reasons why I was doing it for a while, and now I'm on the other side of it, but the competitions are one of the best ways to market yourself,
And it
one,
tapped you in so
and
many
then it
ways.
helps you grow. Most of them help you grow. There's some nowadays that are not really education focused, but that's kind of where the
Right,
brands are going. And then just networking and connecting with people is
right.
definitely like you meet all these different minds together and you start sharing ideas, and then everybody's here to help each other.
Absolutely,
Yeah, I think that's
absolutely. But I
okay.
mean, with competitions, I learned that
Mm,
you the companies who make competitions might not like this, but
yeah,
I always tell people, do you have any advice? I'm going to, I'm like, don't take it seriously. It's a competition. It's not the end of the world. Every competition is different. Every
yeah,
competition has different rules. Just learn from it.
right,
If you don't win, who cares?
yeah,
The entire experience is amazing, and
yeah,
you're going to learn more about yourself in that competition than just being behind the bar.
yeah, sure.
So just take it with a grain of salt,
Yeah,
and you don't take it too seriously.
yeah. It's always the one thing I tell people to now is like, remember to have fun. Like we get
Remember to have fun.
everybody gets caught up in like, oh, I need to focus on this. I need to do what I need to do. Yes,
Right.
do that, but also remember you're there to have fun.
Yeah.
Because I was stuck in this mentality where I needed to focus, and I didn't network as best as I could have and enjoyed the experience. And now looking back, I'm like, damn, I should have spent more time
I,
enjoying it as well
you,
as being stressed out about everything. But again, that's just competition. You
unless
actually
you
see,
were in the
yeah,
same room with
yeah.
Julio Cabrera when he was competing, 'cause that'll take all the fun out of you because you're
Okay.
like, okay, this motherfucker.
Yeah,
This is serious now.
yeah,
And it scares the shit out of you
yeah,
because that guy really knew how to compete. Oh
yeah,
my goodness.
yeah, for sure. So you competed against him?
Me?
No,
No, no,
I
no.
was gonna say, oh,
No, I didn't get to, but
okay, okay,
I've seen him work and I'm
yeah,
like, oh my God,
yeah,
God bless the person who has to go after this guy.
yeah.
he just perfected the process. I
Okay,
couldn't believe it. Beautiful to watch.
for sure. So we talk a little bit about competitions. After doing the competitive stuff, you continue to bartend. How did you get into the roles that you were in? Because you worked for banks for a while.
I worked for banks for a while, which was what an amazing
Yeah,
experience.
you did banks, and then now you're with Milagro, right?
I
Yeah,
did banks for him. I
yeah,
was
yeah, yeah, yeah,
blessed to
yeah.
be in that brand and get again one step closer to important people who became mentors of mine, like Jim Meehan,
Mm, yeah.
who's still an amazing friend. How did I get to this side? Again, it helped me that I got into this older. I was more mature,
Yeah.
and at that time, uh, there was a bigger focus in finding ambassadors who were bartenders first.
Mm,
That was the main focus.
okay.
The whole ambassador program back then was wholly focused in representatives that really understand that bar language.
Mm,
Whereas today you can be an ambassador and never have stepped foot
mm,
behind a bar, which I think is a little strange, to be honest.
yeah.
I know I have friends who have never bartended before, but I still think that's a little strange.
Yeah.
Um, so I got poached. I got poached by brands out of Diageo because I was so responsible behind the bar.
Mhm,
I never got drunk. I was always jovial. I was always attentive, hospitable. I mean, again, coming out of the tiny amount of time that I spent behind the bar at EO
mhm,
when they were training me for a consultation that they were doing, it really spoke to me and it really made me realize that there's a deeper level to hospitality. And of course, this comes from someone like Dushan, who's a bit of a Buddhist.
mhm,
Um, so representatives out of Diageo started noticing that, this guy, he seems put together enough to represent this brand. So I was doing a lot of ad hoc
mm.
ambassador stuff for events, trainings here and there for different brands out of Diageo, but mostly Kettle One and Don Julio.
Okay, cool.
Yeah,
Okay, yeah.
those were the 2 brands that kept
Yeah.
hiring me, and then
Mm,
I started realizing, and again, this is at a time when the word ambassador wasn't even like a real thing yet,
mhm,
So I'm like, wow, this is something kind of fun. I love to talk. I love to educate. I love to teach people things. This sounds like something I might want to do, and
mm,
I knew that I wasn't going to be behind the bar for too long anyway. At
yeah.
35, and I had kids, I didn't want to get home at 5 a.m. every night. So eventually, I was going to work my way out of it, but yeah, that's how I got into it. And
Mm,
then role after role came, and another
mm,
role came, and more permanent roles came,
yeah.
and it taught me a lot. My first full time role
Mm,
was as a portfolio ambassador for Remy Cointreau in New York.
cool. Okay.
I spent
Mm,
3 years there. Now that's where I was fully trained to become an ambassador.
mm,
Um, Richard Lambert was my mentor
mm,
there.
mm,
And that word gets thrown around a lot, but these guys were real
mm,
mentors of mine.
mm,
Richard Lambert, who was Kyle Ford's boss. I don't know if you remember Kyle Ford, an amazing guy who was working for Cointreau and became a portfolio manager there. But that's where I really learned to be an ambassador. And Richard Lambert really taught me how to play the long game with your brand at different bars, but also how to act.
yeah.
He reminded me always, you have to assume that paparazzi is watching you 24/7, even if you're at the supermarket. You are now a 24-hour representative of this brand. And, that kind of stuff speaks to me.
Mhm,
Before I leave the house, I better be well put together,
yeah.
be a camera out there. They never will be, but that's the mentality.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For sure. It's definitely. I know we talked with Luis earlier, but he talking about like your brand and how your personal brand kind of like starts morphing into who you are as the
Yes.
face of this brand now,
Yes.
right?
Absolutely.
Yeah, yeah,
But,
yeah, yeah.
and there's something that I want to clarify about that because a personal brand is completely important.
Yeah,
And if the brand is smart enough, they will hire you because you've
based on
already
you.
built
Mhm,
that
mhm,
brand.
mhm.
Um, but your brand is not just physical, it's not just what you wear. It's not just, it's how you act. It may be how you speak. It may be, that you have the best training courses, or there are so many different aspects of what a personal brand is, but it has to be something that people admire you for.
Yeah.
Again, it's not just how you dress. It could be the way you pay attention to people. Maybe you have the best hugs in the industry.
Yeah.
That's your brand.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. That's definitely something I talk about pretty often is personal branding. Because I feel like a lot of bartenders get stuck in this, like, I need to be in the limelight all the time. Like, no, not necessarily. If you're
Right.
doing what you need to do and you're doing the competitions and you're treating people right, you'll get noticed by
Right.
the right people.
Exactly. But
Yeah,
that's what
yeah,
I mean.
mhm.
Like, personal branding can come in so many different shapes and
Right.
forms. You might have a reputation of always leaving a party at 9 p.m.
Mhm.
when everyone's just getting started. If if that's your thing, that becomes your brand.
Right.
It just becomes a part of you, and people notice it and people talk about it. Oh, Joe is here. Oh, but he'll be gone by 9 o'clock. Watch, you'll see.
Mm,
That's a responsible, and it just becomes your thing. So it can be so many different things. I just think you shouldn't get caught up in building it. It should be organic.
mhm.
It'll come over time. You'll figure it out. I think if you try to develop that brand right from the beginning,
Yeah.
it's not real.
Mm,
It's contrived and people are going to read through it. It's not, it has to be something natural.
yeah. It needs to be fluid. It needs to be uniquely you, right?
Right.
Like, you don't need to
Exactly.
fit in a mold.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Yep.
for sure. Awesome. To talk a little bit about that, let's talk a little bit about you said you did some consulting, right? Yes,
Yes.
let's talk a little bit about your consulting background. Like, what kind of consultings have you done?
Yeah.
Mm,
So, I mean,
mm,
I just helped a lot of different bars in New York because it was something that I really wanted to do, not because I thought I had the best cocktails in the world.
mm,
It's because I, I really understood how to, again, build the brand of the bar.
mhm,
You know, at the beginning stages, I've met a lot of people who started consulting, and at their beginning stages, I can tell that it was more about them.
mm,
They don't care what's going on in the restaurant. Oh, let me build this menu because it's my menu and I want to make it. And and I did that too
mm,
on my first consultation. And when I realized it didn't work, I went back to the drawing board and realized, no, wait a minute. And this is another thing I learned from the
mm,
standard. Said, wait a minute. No, I have to ask a lot of questions
mm.
and then get inspired by that.
Yeah.
I may have my own style of cocktails, but no, wait a minute. Let's see what the restaurant wants. What time do you open? What time do you close? What's the neighborhood? Um, what percentage of your guests are local? Do you have any tourists? What kind of music do you play? How loud does it get? What kind of food do you have? What kind of ingredients do you have in the kitchen? Again, these are things that it's easy today. We take it for granted today. If you're going to consult, this is what people are going to pay attention to. But back then, it wasn't that deep.
Mhm.
I wanted to use ingredients that the kitchen was using to save time, to save money, and to have an easier flow.
Yeah.
I'd create the cocktails and then take it to the chef. Chef, what do you want to pair this with?
Mhm.
Here are the cocktails. Taste this. What does this go with? Cool. Now we can get the servers and the bartenders to make suggestions. Um, Steps of service was another thing that was very important to me, and I learned this from employees only.
Mhm.
And how there had people drop their guard when there's a consistency of service. It's not just because it's good service. Is there a consistency there
Yeah.
of service? Um, how long does it take for you to get your water? How long does it take
Mhm,
for you to get greeted? It's not just one person that's nice enough to do it. Oh, Joe's here. He's always nice.
mhm.
No, this has to be the entire staff. We're there to change your mind as soon as you get to the door. We're there to make you forget whatever's happening outside and make you realize that you're home.
Yeah.
And that's extremely important. So I preach that every single day. Dushan taught me
Mm,
that bar's a stage. And what do people do on stage? You don't act. It's not an act. It's not fake. You just become that person, right?
mhm.
Like an actor, they're not faking it. Actors don't fake it. There's a part of them in that role. So you're on stage. You're on Broadway, on stage, you have to become that person. So if you're angry, leave that outside. That's not part of the role that you were hired for. So he always taught me to realize you're on
Mhm.
stage. This is the person you have to become. It's not about you anymore.
Yeah.
What do you want to give your audience? Yeah.
That's very true because when I was in Orlando, when I worked with Universal Studios and even with some of the people that came from Disney, so Disney has I don't know if they do now, but well, you took what back then they had a sign at each entrance that says you're going on stage and you need to be stage ready.
Oh, look at that.
So
I
that's
love
a
it.
good point
I
to
love
bring
it.
up there. Like, and same thing, like when we were doing with night shift, that was part of our training too. Like once you're in the back, you can be yourself, but as soon as you walk through those doors, you represent this bar.
Yeah.
And even outside of the bar, you're still technically representing this bar
Still.
and you
Yeah.
still behave, right?
Yep.
So that's a good point.
For sure. For sure. And I
Mm,
remember at Dushan, he gave me a marble. He would
mm,
give you these marbles
okay.
when you train under him. And he asked me, he says, "Who do you love unconditionally in your life?" And it doesn't matter. It could be your dog. It doesn't matter. And I said, "My mom. She can do no wrong. She could stab me, and I'd still adore her." He says, "This is your mom. Keep it in your jacket. When you're behind this bar, and you have a drunk guy pissing you off, maintain your composure. Rub your marble, and remember that this person doesn't know who you are. It's not personal. He doesn't know your name. He doesn't know where you live. You didn't do anything to him.
Yeah.
Rub your marble and realize, just think of someone you love unconditionally and realize that, there's a way out of this. Don't let him ruin your night."
Yeah.
So that was important. These little things.
Yeah. For
Yeah.
sure. And it's kind of cool that you went through a hotel program because my background's in hotels as well.
Ah,
And I like standards. I like standardization, especially when we're consulting. I think it's cool how you also enjoy that aspect of it.
yeah. I didn't enjoy it. I got
Well,
fired from that
oh, heard.
standards.
Okay, heard. I walk it
I,
back. Yeah.
I didn't enjoy it. I learned.
Uh,
I love that I went through it
yeah.
because it taught me how hotels work.
Yeah.
Especially for my role now, it,
Yeah.
it teaches me how hotels make decisions
Yeah.
and how many steps it takes to make simple decisions. Um, and I was more freestyle. That rigidness I just wasn't into, but I respected it
Yeah.
completely. And I built that bar. I was very proud of it. Built it from the ground up. I hired the crew, fixed the back bar, everything. The stations, chose the spirits. I built it,
Mm.
and it's a beautiful bar. But yeah, it's incredible what you. I would say the one thing that really made me realize that the bar wasn't just about the cocktails, and this was, I mean, again, this was many years ago,
Yeah.
that it wasn't just about the cocktails, is that there was a guy who there was one week that a guy who used to just sit at the bar, he ordered his coffee or ordered his club soda, and he would just be there on his laptop for 3, 4 hours a day
Yeah.
at different times. He would spend 3, 4 hours a day. And then finally I asked him, like, hey, are you staying here? What do you do here? And he says, "Oh, I'm the sound guy." I'm like, "Oh." He's like, "Yeah, I'm working right now." I'm like, "What do you mean? What exactly, what is it? What are you doing?" And he made me understand how important it is to have not only the right lighting at the right times, but the right sounds, right?
Yeah.
So what he was doing was he was coming in at different times and seeing the noise level of 3 people at the bar, 6 people at the bar, 10, 20, and what kind of music should be playing. And he would watch people as he's playing different types of music and figuring out what makes more sense
Mhm.
according to the sun going down, the lighting,
Yeah.
the amount of people.
Yeah.
And it blew me away because it made me realize again that it's not just, here's your cocktail,
Yeah.
you won.
Mm.
No, everything must be paid attention to. Everything. Something as simple as and this is a pet peeve of mine at restaurants.
Mm.
When a server's coming and you're coming and only one of you can fit through that
Yes.
space and they decide to go first, that bothers me. That ruins the night there for me
Yeah.
because it tells me that the staff isn't trained right. For me, I don't care how late you are, the guest always goes first. Always. That little gesture to me can change everything in a restaurant. So I pay attention to everything now. Again, there's the two schools, standard, EO. It made me realize that everything must be paid attention
Mm,
to, every single thing.
yeah, for sure. Well, let's transition into we're almost done. We got like 15 more minutes. Yeah, 15, 20. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. Good. Cool. Awesome. All right. So let's transition into East Coast. So
Hmm.
you live in Miami now, right?
I live in Miami, born and raised in New York, but live in Miami now. Yeah.
And you've lived in New York, so you have those two big markets there.
Hmm.
So what are you seeing? I know you take care of the East Coast mostly. So what trends are you seeing in within your market and your travels there on that side of the states, like in the
You
cocktail
know,
scene?
yeah.
Mm,
As close as they are, Miami and New
mm,
York, vast difference in
okay.
the cocktail scene.
Okay.
Um, Not only, New York is New York.
Mm,
You can't take anything away
yeah.
from New York. But I think what makes me really happy about something that's going on in New York now is that, although more elevated now than before, but I see a lot of bars now going back to the classics, but elevating those
Hmm.
classics. Um, and that makes me happy because I'm a classics fan.
Yeah.
The simpler the better, because you can't hide behind a martini. You can't hide behind a three ingredient cocktail. This is, for me, where the talent really is.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can follow these ingredients, this 10-step process that you learned uh, from your manager, but can you make me a martini?
Mm,
What's your martini like?
yeah.
Can you make me a simple rum and coke? A
Mm,
lot of times it's hard to balance.
yeah.
So yeah, um, in New York, they're going back to the classics. One of my favorite things in the world that I tried, I would say 3, 4 months ago, when they were on I think it was, I don't remember the publication, but they're like the 10 best alt martinis
Hmm.
in New York. And one of the best martinis I've ever tried, at a place called Tigre. It's the Maison Premiere. They
Okay.
have a cigarette martini there that will
So,
blow your
so
clean,
yeah.
seemingly simple, clean martini,
Yeah.
but it's mind blowing. So I love
Mm,
that everyone seems to be going back to
yeah.
these classic. Whereas in Miami, I see people still experimenting with the most unique ingredients they can find, but also the most unique equipment.
Mm,
It's all about,
yeah.
what equipment do you
Yeah.
have behind the bar? What can we clarify? What can we
Yeah. Kind
use?
of
What can
roto
we,
vaps.
right? What can
Yeah.
we roll about?
Yeah.
Which is great. And I love the two sides of the coins, but I came from a different time, and I still love my classics. I still love
Yeah.
my simple cocktails. So I like that that's happening in New York.
Yeah.
But Miami is working really, they're hungry bartenders and some
Mm,
really smart bartenders who are doing some interesting things
yeah.
out there.
Do you see the bar community is pretty tight at both locations, or do you think one city has a
Yes,
yeah.
but
Mm,
New York has become just very busy,
mm,
very busy. Not only because there are just like 10 bars opening every week,
yeah.
but so many brands are doing so much right now, and it's hard to be everywhere at once. In Miami, it's a little easier.
Mm,
They support each other. They go to each other's bars. They want to know what they're doing. They go to events. They're very happy to be involved. And again, New York wants to be involved, but there's just
yeah.
too much going on, especially now that everyone wants to be on the list. So they're working really hard. They don't
Yeah.
have time to go visit 10 bars and
Yeah.
hang out. They're very busy trying to get on 50 Best and traveling a lot. They're doing a
Mm,
lot of pop-ups, which is
yeah.
one of the bigger things that you need to get on these lists.
For sure.
Uh,
And the next question I had for you is palettes. So are you seeing so from my experience, and this is my experience specifically, is like in South we have a sweeter palate. When we start going to like New York and up east has a drier palate, and I know you say you like martinis,
right,
so that kind of tracks with that style of drinking,
right.
right? What are you seeing in Miami? Like is Miami kind of a between the two, or are you seeing a specific delineation?
That's a good question.
Yeah.
What have I noticed? I mean, the cocktails in Miami tend to be a little sweeter.
Okay.
Uh, And I'm not saying that they're overly sweet or they're not balanced. It's just that they tend to be a little sweeter. And I think it's maybe because it's tropical weather that has something to do with it. But yeah, it's definitely a sweeter palate. They tend to be complicated ingredients, but not complicated
Yeah.
in flavor. It's not. It's easier to get into these cocktails and for your regular consumer to understand and
Yeah.
appreciate than it is in New York. Again, going back to this cigarette martini, your regular consumer probably is going to be like, "What is going on here?"
Yeah.
But your martini lover, and this is a place again, a place like Maison Premier and a place like Tigre. Even if you're not in the industry, the people who go there are people who understand cocktails.
Mm.
So they're going to appreciate something like this.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, it's very interesting because I judge for one of the competitions here in the U.S. and it's all blind judge, but you can tell specifically like what market they come from based on how their builds read. And I
Yeah.
myself know I have a sweet palate just because I'm
A
here from
sweet
the side,
palate.
but I also appreciate dry drinks as well.
Yeah.
So,
I,
mm,
I I'm
mm,
Dominican
mm,
and we have a sweet palate,
mm,
and I taught myself to not have it
mm,
because it was happening a lot. It was just happening a lot in my cocktails
mm,
and I was getting this feedback. So it took me a year. I
mm,
taught myself to appreciate a Negroni, and these
mm,
bitter flavors. And I taught myself to appreciate a martini,
mm,
and it wasn't easy.
mm.
And then martini became my favorite cocktail.
Yeah.
Favorite cocktail.
Yeah.
Everywhere I go,
Mm.
you'll see me have a Milagro
Yes.
50 50. The
Yeah.
fitty
Yeah.
fitty
Yeah.
is my favorite
Yeah.
thing. It keeps me, I can drink it and I can move to the
Yeah.
next bar and not get
Yeah.
too overly,
Mhm.
stimulated.
Yeah. So you have the cigarette martini as being one of your top highlights. Do you have another secondary cocktail that's kind of been in your top this year that you've tasted?
Oh man, this is a bit of a
Mm,
biased choice. There's a cocktail
mm,
in Miami. Can I mention the bar? The great, the great and talented kids of Bar Kaiju, led by Derek Stillman. I went to Derek, and I told it we're going to release a Cristalino later this year,
okay.
and I told him, I said, look, I want to create a crystal clear espresso martini. Is that possible?
Mm,
We went back and forth for weeks
mm,
because he was trying to figure it out. He's like, Stilo, I can't. It's coming out yellowish. It's really hard
mm.
to just to remove all the flavors from the coffee. He's like, look, there's a one machine that allows us to do it.
Together, yeah.
We find this machine, and he works on it for 3 more months
Okay.
because he's a perfectionist. That's
Mm,
just the way he is.
yeah.
It was good. It wasn't good enough. It
Yeah.
was good. He gave me a try. It was good. It wasn't good. He finalized it, and he created this perfect crystal clear espresso martini. Maskingana is what it's called there because
Oh, okay.
it's a monster themed
Yeah.
bar, um, but it's very special because it's so mind blowing. I No matter how many times I have it, you get this crystal clear liquid in a martini glass, and it's so robust and full flavored. This is a very special cocktail.
Yeah.
And again, I wanted to find a way to be able to enjoy a clear martini style drink, but still get my coffee fix,
Yeah.
which I love. And it is just absolutely
Okay.
amazing. Amazing. I'm blown away
That's
by
dope.
this drink.
Okay, cool,
Yeah.
cool. I have to go there and check it out.
Yep.
Yeah, for sure.
Absolutely.
Cool. Let's transition into talking a little bit about Milagro and then additives.
So
So, yeah, so
additives.
then
Oh,
let's talk
hot
about
seat
additives
now.
first. Yeah.
A hot seat.
So we know that there's certain brands out there like additives are part of the process of making spirits, right?
Right.
Like Scotch adds additives for coloring.
Right.
Other
Nothing new.
nothing new.
Nothing new. In scotch and
It's
rum and
okay,
cognac and
yeah, yeah.
wine.
So,
Nothing new.
so let's talk a little bit about additives. Like, what are they? Like, why do they add additives outside of coloring? Like, with this whole thing with other brands.
Right.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
I
Okay.
think I think for a couple of reasons. I came from, and I think I can speak on it because I came from a different side of tequila. I worked with Don Fulano for
Okay.
almost 2 years,
Cool.
family owned
Yeah.
tequila. They own every
Yeah.
step of the process, from the
Mm.
fields, every step of the process,
Yeah.
completely additive free.
Mm.
But at their volume level, it's much easier to control. They own all the land, they
Mm.
own every step of the process. But again, very small company, very small volume. You can control that.
Yeah.
The only thing that cannot be controlled in a process like that is the consistency of your liquid year to year.
Right.
You know, you may have more rain, you may have more sun, maybe some disaster happened
Yeah.
that year. Maybe there was a disease that affected your fields,
Mm.
and also where you're getting your agave, because every field is different.
Yeah.
Um, so it can change.
Yeah.
Maybe not year to year. Maybe 2 years ago, Don Fulano tasted like this, and
Mm.
maybe so. I believe now that I've worked for scotches, I've worked
Mm.
for liqueurs, I've worked for cognacs, I've worked for rums, I've worked in every category as an ambassador, and I've seen every step of the process for each. And I've learned that if you're responsible with it and it's just tiny trace amounts,
Mm.
I think it's very good for the liquid.
Yeah.
With Now again, if you're responsible with it, for example, you can add 4 different types of additives
Mm.
to make your tequila and still call it tequila.
Mm.
For me, the most detrimental one is the sweeteners.
Mhm.
We don't add sweeteners to any of our expressions. Period.
Yeah.
Why? Because we only harvest fully mature agave,
Mm.
because we cook in autoclave and brick oven, because we're distilling in column still and pot still. So we're doing it right every step of the process.
Yeah.
There's no need to sweeten it.
Yeah.
It starts in the fields. Again, our distiller, beautiful man, Pedro Juarez,
Mm.
says it starts in the field.
Mm.
That's where it starts. If you mess it up from the rest, then you have to start adding additives.
Yeah.
Now, caramel coloring does nothing to the taste.
Yeah.
It's a consistency of color. When you're at this volume level that is
Yeah.
Milagro, you have to do it, but it doesn't affect the flavor.
Mm.
Um, but again, what bothers me about these preachers of additive-free tequilas is that they're preaching additive-free and additive-free only, and a lot of influencers are only focused on on presenting additive-free spirits. But what do they do once they say, "Oh, we're focusing on this additive-free"? What are they doing? They're putting it in a margarita.
Mm.
What is agave? It's a sweetener. It can be considered an additive.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm representing this additive-free tequila, and we only use. Okay, you're about to make a batanga. What's in a batanga?
Yeah.
Coke,
Coke. Yeah.
high
Okay.
fructose corn syrup.
Mm.
That's an additive.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
Yeah.
I just think at the end of the day, it's liquor. It's
Yeah.
just follow your palate.
Yeah.
Just
For
follow
sure.
your palate. Really, like
Yeah.
if you're educated enough, just drink what you like. Follow your palate. It's not the end of the world.
Yeah.
I think as long as you don't add sugars, you're safe and
Yeah.
you're
Sugars.
responsible enough.
Yeah. Sugars and flavorings for sure.
Right, and
And
flavorings.
vanilla
Absolutely,
is
yeah,
one of those ones that they use,
absolutely,
right?
absolutely,
Yeah.
agreed.
For sure. Um, cool. Let's talk a little bit about Milagro now. So Milagro is a. Do you guys own the fields or is it sourced? Was my
We're
first question.
we're we're too big to own all the
Okay.
fields. We're
Yeah. That
way
I
too
guess
big.
yeah.
We own
Yeah.
some fields,
Yeah.
but we source them. But I've been there enough days to realize that we have very specific steps for the agaves we choose. We only work with certain companies who are very responsible with the agaves
Mhm.
they're harvesting, that they're only harvesting fully mature
Mm.
agave. Sometimes I've seen our trabajadores, our workers, once you receive these agaves, they'll turn away a lot of agave
Mm.
that don't meet the standards, and our standards are pretty high. Um, so as long as we get them from the fields that we want them from, as
Mm.
long as we know we're getting fully mature agave, this is common practice. There are way too many too many tequilas, not enough distilleries, and not enough fields. So
Yeah.
this is common practice to
So
work
just
with other
yeah, just like
other
source
companies.
from other
Right.
companies. Gotcha. And then as far as the process for making Milagro, where does it go from there? So you're getting it. Is it brick oven?
So we do a blend of brick
It's
and
an
autoclave.
additive. Okay.
So
Okay.
efficiency with autoclave, more even cooking,
Mm,
faster, but we don't want to forget those traditions. We still want it, which bless their heart. When I first went to the distillery and I saw that, I'm like, "Are you actually using that brick oven?"
mm,
Yeah, we use it. It's a blend of both. So I was very amazed that again at this volume level that we're still doing something that special. So it's a blend of both because we want those robust rustic
mm,
flavors to still exist
mm.
in Milagro, and also the fact that we distill in those two types of stills, the column still and the copper pot, because you want those concentrated flavors blended together.
Yeah.
So beautiful, beautiful. Our silver, for example, that's exactly what you're tasting. You're tasting that beautiful, fully mature agave, that cooked agave. You
Yeah.
can taste the brick of it in there.
Yeah.
And it makes me very happy again
Yeah.
working with such a big company that's still doing it right. I think it says a lot about
Yeah, for
where we
sure.
ran.
Awesome. And you guys are releasing something new this year, so we're excited for that. I know it's coming down the
Yes.
pipeline, so really
Yes.
excited.
Which is a category again, it's
Mm,
another
yeah.
category. It's not just the additive free category.
Mm,
There's Cristalino is another hot topic for purists,
mm,
and are saying, "Oh, wait a minute, why are you doing this?" And I was lucky because I was at the very first few months just before Don Julio launched their Cristalino, and I went to the distillery and I got to try it, and they didn't tell me what it was. They just said, "Stilo, try this," and I was amazed by it.
mm,
I was a preacher of Cristalino from day one.
mm,
The fact that I just love clear liquids. I love them. That's what I stick to.
yeah.
So to have something that clear that has that many layers and I can still taste these barrel notes, I was blown away by it. So people think, why are you aging something so long and then stripping it? But it's really not that simple.
Mm,
Again, aesthetically, it's pleasing to a lot of people who like clear spirits, like me, for example. But it's not only that. People forget that uh, when when you're using these charcoal filtrations, you're removing some things, but you're adding others. You're removing some flavors and some textures, but you're adding different flavors and textures. It
right.
all it all depends on the size of the pores
Mhm.
of the charcoal. But for us, which is our select barrel añejo that's being filtered clear, and the select barrel añejo is a 2 barrel blend. It's a bourbon barrel and a virgin French.
Yeah.
But you're removing a lot of the heavier oak tannins, and you have these vanilla and caramel notes that are now the focus
Yeah.
of the liquid. Really, really special liquid.
Yeah.
I'm very happy
Awesome.
about it.
That's exciting. Well, thank you for joining us today.
Thank you, thank you,
Yeah, for
thank you. It
sure.
was a lot of fun.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun. We got a full Tails week ahead of us, so I'm
Oh
excited.
yeah,
Yeah,
we're just getting started. I'm
we
glad
got
we
good.
got this out of the way
Yeah,
before
for sure.
before I
Awesome.
look disheveled.
Yeah, for sure. Where can people follow you if they have any questions on Instagram, social
Oh
media?
yeah, Stilo NYC,
Okay,
Stilo NYC is my handle.
perfect. Awesome. Well, again, thank you again for coming out,
Thank you,
and
thank you,
then
thank you.
awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you for joining us again. Follow us on the socials. Of course, we'll see you next time. And today's training topic is staying hydrated, of course,
Always.
and then mentorship is key.
Mentorship
Mentorship
is
is
key.
important.
Boom. Agreed.
Awesome. Yeah.
I approve this message.
Yeah. Awesome. Awesome. Thank y'all.